Antonio headlined Rookie of the Year David Robinson, as smooth a center as you'll find, while Portland featured Clyde the Glide Drexler. Through the first 4 games of this series, these graceful expectations held up. In games 5 and 6, as the stakes became higher, the high wire act turned into a war. Each possession became a battle. Emotions and tempers flared. Inspired and physical play took over. And force was mixed with grace. Waiting for the start of the Western Conference Finals are those surprising Phoenix Suns. But here in Portland, it's Game 7 between the Spurs and Blazers. Welcome to the Memorial Coliseum in Portland, Oregon. CBS Sports continues its coverage of the 1990 NBA playoffs. And today, Game 7 of the Western Conference semifinal between the San Antonio Spurs and the Portland Trail Blazers. The home team has prevailed in every game thus far, and the winner will go against the Phoenix Suns in the Western Conference Final. Good afternoon again, everyone. I'm Dick Stockton, and this place is going wild. There's always something special in a deciding game of a series, particularly in this one, since virtually players have ever experienced the 7th game of an NBA playoff. But there was a tremendous response just moments ago when Kevin Duckworth, who has missed the entire series with a broken hand, came out, the starting center for the Portland Trail Blazers, got this reaction. Poker face was David Robinson of San Antonio, and shades of Willis Reed back in 1970 when he came out with the great reaction at Madison Square Garden. Hubie Brown, now, what does it mean, Duckworth not only playing but starting for Portland?
Well, what you're doing is you're getting your 3rd leading scorer back, and that's big. Also, the big body to put on David Robinson when the shots go up. It unites the #1 rebounding front line in basketball. Kersey, Duckworth, and Williams. Get that fast break started.
Not only that, Hubie, but Wayne Cooper, who has missed all but 1 game and has been out with back spasms, is also in uniform, and he will play as well. Meanwhile, San Antonio has lost 12 straight games on this floor. They've lost 3 games as well in the playoffs. What do they must do to turn it around?
#1, they must establish the defense, and I not just mean at half court off the dribble. I'm talking transition because of the open floor scoring ability. Also, keep Portland off the offensive boards and do not settle for a jump shooting game.
All right, for more on the series, let's go over to Tim Brandt. Tim?
All right, Dick, an obvious sense of urgency on both sides of the court. A couple of quick historical notes. Although Portland won the World Championship in 1977, as you mentioned, they've never been to a Game 7. So it's a new experience for all these fans here in Portland. The most experienced man on this court is San Antonio coach Larry Brown. He went to his 7th game 12 years ago when he was coach of the Nuggets, but he's been to some big ones since. He won the NCAA championship, as we all recall, with Kansas. Dick?
All right, Tim, the stage is set. Hubie and I are all excited to be here for Game 7. It's the NBA on CBS.
CBS Sports coverage of the 1990 NBA playoffs is sponsored by Chrysler, Plymouth, Dodge, Jeep, and Eagle dealers, where you get the advantage. McDonald's, you know the one. It's McDonald's for food, folks, and fun. And by Miller Lite's Tour de Light, the race to win America's favorite light beer.
570th consecutive sellout, longest in the league here in Portland. For the San Antonio Spurs, Sean Elliott and Terry Cummings. Up front in the backcourt, Rod Strickland and Willie Anderson. And the Rookie of the Year, David Robinson at center, and Larry Brown in his 2nd year. And a great turnaround season for him and the club. For the Portland Trail Blazers, Jerome Kersey and Buck Williams at the forwards. In the backcourt, it's Terry Porter and Clyde Drexler. And Kevin Duckworth. Starting his 1st game, Rick Adelman is the coach of Portland, and a big turnaround season for him as well. officials working the 7th game, and a good crew. Ed Rush, Hugh Evans, and Joey Crawford. Portland in white, San Antonio in black. It should be a great one.
When you look at San Antonio now, they run a passing game. They do not like the low post.
Terry Cummings, the leading scorer at 26 a game, puts the Spurs in front.
Really tough day today for San Antonio. You must stop Porter and Drexler off the dribble to the basket.
Williams has it blocked by Robinson. Percy puts it up and ties the score.
Now, when we look at San Antonio, David Robinson is much better moving and coming to the basketball, like right there.
Duckworth the rebound. Terry Porter, the point guard. Clyde Drexler. Offensive rebound for Buck Williams.
Now, this is Portland at their best. One of the premier offensive rebounding teams in the game.
And the best rebounding team, as you mentioned, throughout the entire league. Percy shooting over Elliott.
They can play. Portland can play any way that you want. The half court, full court, run up and down, one-on-one, anything you like.
But they got to get the boards to make it happen. Willie Anderson, double team, and he scores with a nice shot over the big people.
The action is quick after scores. Both teams try to push the ball quickly.
Terry Porter, the leading three-point shooter for Portland, in fact, in their history in the playoffs. Now the Spurs with a chance to take the lead again, and Rod Strickland gives it to them.
Throughout this series, Terry Porter lays off of Strickland, and he's just baiting him to keep taking that outside shot.
Strickland is guarding Porter. Big matchup as far as the guards as Anderson is right now defending against Drexler, who was tossed out of the game with a punching foul in Game 6, elbowing Anderson. Porter inside to Buck Williams, perfectly executed.
Larry Brown very concerned about trying to stay in front of the penetration so that it does not get the easy layup like right there.
Rod Strickland hits his second shot, acquired from the New York Knicks for Maurice Cheeks in late February. Started the last 24 games for the Spurs. Porter goes in and is fouled by Rod Strickland.
Now here you'll see, there's your beating Strickland off the dribble, and then the easy drop off to Buck Williams.
Here's Terry Porter, who's the leading scorer for the Blazers in the playoffs at over 21 a game. One of the smaller schools, Wisconsin Stevens Point, a #1 pick.
Well, the All-American is junior and senior year, NAIA. NBA scouting, they find you.
And he's raised his level in this series.
Well, without Duckworth, he had to assume a scoring responsibility. And in this series, they have 3 guys averaging over 20 points. Percy, Drexler, and then Porter.
Nearly 2.5 minutes gone by in the first period.
Both coaches would love this type of a tempo for the full 48 minutes.
David Robinson given the shot by Duckworth, misses, and Percy gets the rebound. Porter's going to control it. Duckworth setting a screen on a switch. Willie Anderson picks up Porter, goes right around Anderson and draws the foul inside.
Already we're seeing Duckworth. Now he doesn't have any points, but he's been involved in 3 picks that have 3 people. You must honor that, and then the main thing is David Robinson knows he cannot continue to leave Duckworth or the pass will come back for the dunk.
David Robinson picking up his first foul. One of the key things without those 2 centers has been Robinson's ability to roam to try to get a piece of the ball. May not be able to do it today.
In games like this, the teams that usually win will be the ones that will get the most second shot, easy baskets, get on the foul line, and then execute in the open floor.
Larry Brown, last year, his only losing year as a coach on any level. Strickland. Drexler the rebound. Spurs just getting 1 shot at the hoop, and that's all.
You know, if you're Edelman, now the coach, you're happy. That's what you're looking for today. 1-shot opportunities.
On the switch, Sean Elliott picks up Porter. Here's Clyde Drexel, and the rebound is by Sean Elliott. Spurs playing with 2 rookies in the lineup, Elliott and Robinson. Strickland, a second-year man. Cummings, the veteran, at 29 in the starting 5.
The San Antonio must get Terry Cummings going.
Crowd wanted to travel. Anderson hits the three-point basket. Willie Anderson.
With the addition of Strickland, Anderson and Cummings are getting more perimeter jump shots because Strickland beats his man, and then their men drop off to try to help out.
10 on the shot clock. Trying to get Robinson with another foul. Throw pass goes by Williams. Didn't look like he expected it, Hubie.
Well, it was a bad pass opportunity. Buck was definitely thinking offensive boards. But see, Duckworth has got to prove today that he can, A, catch the ball, and then B, put it on the floor as well as shoot and score to be an offensive threat. They don't have to double.
Rod Strickland hits the short jumper. Strickland with 6 points now, the leading scorer for the Spurs. Only 1 turnover thus far. Porter is eventually fouled. They tied him up, and the Spurs commit the foul. And it'll be on Cummings, his first.
In talking to both coaches yesterday, they are constantly talking about the hustle, hustle, hustle. And that's where Portland really excels on loose ball type of situations over the course of the 82-game schedule.
Portland will inbound. They won 59 games this year. That's as many as the Detroit Pistons won, believe it or not. Double team on Buck.
Plenty of time, 15 seconds.
Williams and Cummings. Good interior defense by the Spurs. It comes out to Strickland. Blazers get back defensively, but a great feed from Strickland to Sean Elliott or Willie Anderson, and a foul on Portland inside.
Now this matchup, all series, they've been one-on-one-ing Buck because he can take Terry off the dribble. And you can see he definitely gets inside of him. That time, David Robinson was able to come and intimidate him.
Duckworth committing the foul. Here's Willie Anderson. Story with Anderson, and he's playing with a dislocated left thumb, suffered in game number 5. And he responded with his best game by far, 30 points in game number 6.
But it still bothers him on the catch of the basketball, the jolt, as well as if you cross over and you dribble with your left hand, the pounding up against that cast there.
Spurs have already committed 3 team fouls. Getting set for a 3 is Porter. Terry Porter. He's nearly 50% from three-point range and has 7 in the game now.
Larry Brown said the defense, we must get to their shooters quicker.
Spurs by 1. Elliott with a good move to the hoop. Got around Kersey. And a Portland foul. So Sean Elliott will go to the line when we come back. He won the Wooden Award last year as the College Player of the Year.
Back at Memorial Coliseum, Game 7. The Spurs lead by 1, 14-13. I'm Tim Brandt, courtside. Just talked to Portland team doctor Robert Cook about the hand of Kevin Duckworth. He said that he's wearing a fiberglass splint underneath the broken bone in that right hand. He said he shot with it yesterday. He was not restricted. It feels comfortable now. He has not been inhibited at all. Dick?
There's Duckworth. And Willie Anderson, as we talked about earlier, the other injured Spur.
Well, Willie Anderson, he feels that it popped out on him in game 6 again, but he feels that he can play with the pain. Now, anytime that you shoot 13 for 19 from the field, I would say
should pop out more often.
Yes, that's right. We don't want to say that it
not really
shooting.
Cummings with a fake on Buck Williams. Williams did a good job. Buck, by the way, named to the NBA All-Defensive Team this week. Nearly 6.5 to go in the first period. Tight game. Duckworth fires it up. Wild. And the rebound by Elliott. Spurs by 1.
Early going, the Spurs' decisions in the open floor have been very good.
Willie Anderson with a fake. Drexler goes in, and Anderson hits again, and he's got 8 points.
Well, he's having an outstanding series. Larry feels it's his maturity. He's also developed at that 15 to 18-foot jump shot, and he's an excellent passer.
And a turnover. Here's David Robinson in the open floor. Cummings converts the layup.
Very disappointed in the Portland defense that time. They did not come back into transition. They assumed that the layup would be made.
5-point lead now for the San Antonio Spurs. That's the largest lead of the game for anyone. Good pass inside. Drexler from Buck Williams.
That was excellent jockeying. A Drexler-Willie Anderson matchup today is going to be a classic.
Drexler scored only 4 points in his last game. That was his first basket today. Rarely has bad back-to-back affairs. Sloppy ball handling, and the Spurs will turn it over.
Look right in your lane here. Now you'll see a nice pass by Buck. Drexler, good catch. Excellent move.
Now a 3-point lead, and Portland can narrow that.
If you've been noticing Duckworth, he's up high all the time around the foul line area, setting picks, and out on the wing.
Now he's posting up against Robinson, who has one personal.
Here's your pick and roll again.
And Jerome Kersey fires away. He had a great second half shooting-wise. He's a weapon.
The other thing that I see that's there today is when David Robinson double teams the guy coming off the pick and roll, if Duckworth will roll to the basket, be wide open.
10 on the shot clock. And Strickland throws it away.
Great move.
Porter goes around him. Beats Kersey, and it's blocked. Sean Elliott blocked the shot. Now Kersey interrupts Strickland. Wild play, and here's Portland, and it's Porter.
Larry Brown concerned when you're on the road, you want to take the building out of the game, so you do not want. There you go. Timeout. Very smart move.
6 in a row run off by the Blazers.
Here we have the loose ball. Now, any time that there is a quick pitch out, you know that the quickness of Portland, they're devastating on the fast break. They can run with any team in this league.
Now, in the last game, there were 3 sets of double technical fouls, plenty of banging going on. Buck Williams talks about it.
I think in the last game, everyone talked about how physical that game was, but that is a typical playoff game. It wasn't that Clyde Drexler was a cheap shot artist. It's not about that. It's about what's at stake. It's about raising your level of play physically and mentally. And once the younger players, such as San Antonio has, get accustomed to the physical nature of the game, they will see that it's not so much about being a cheap shot artist than about it's a lot at stake, and that's the way that you play in the playoffs.
You know, Dick, one of the things I love about Buck, an awful lot of people never thought that he played in the playoffs at New Jersey. But in Buck's first 5 years, with Larry Brown coaching and then Stan Alback, he was in the playoffs 5 times and averaged 18 points a game and 12 rebounds.
It's a great rejuvenation year for one of the nicest guys in the NBA, now playing at a level he should be playing in every year. Drexler forces the turnover. Quick pass to Kersey. Was leaving a pass, no one there, and it's still Portland ball, but the Spurs have turned it over on each of their last 4 possessions.
Kersey has the right to complain. He definitely was pumped on the shot. You'll see an excellent defensive play here by Drexler, and here's where they are murder, out in that offensive area.
Drexler misses from the corner. Strickland comes down with it. 1-point lead for Portland. Game 7. And Sean Elliott, Willie Anderson, excuse me, Anderson hits, and he's got 10 points.
He's in a nice, easy flow today. He's shooting no jerky motion. The release is perfect. And what you like about it, he's moving extremely well without the ball.
Former Olympian out of the University of Georgia. Double team on Porter outside. Buck Williams uses his body, gets the basket, and draws the foul.
See, this is what we've been talking about all along. Every time they use the pick and roll, David Robinson is stepping out and trying to trap the man. Now, what happens there is that opens up people down underneath the basket. Excellent pass and a very, very difficult shot by Buck Williams.
That is the 4th team foul against the Spurs, first against Elliott. And Buck Williams, who's wearing goggles after he was hit in the eye by a James Donaldson arm, makes the 3-point play, and it's 22-20 Blazers.
See the man with the ball right now has had very few shot opportunities.
He gets it there, the basket and the foul, and the first points of the game for the Navy man. What a rookie year that he exceeded all expectations of him.
He's a rookie. I know. Wait a second.
Duckworth to the bench with his second personal. Burkowski will replace Cummings. Wingate is in for Strickland. And Wayne Cooper is in as well. There's Cooper, who's had back spasms, played briefly in game 1. And on the bench since. Good shot blocker, one of the best. Buck goes by Robinson. Robinson the rebound. High to 22. Under 3 minutes to go in the first quarter. Cooper doesn't go for the fake. Good defense there, gets the rebound.
Neither team has been establishing.
Oh, there's the glide. Good point. We rarely see second shots in this one.
Larry Brown made a good point about David Robinson. You know, he really doesn't have a pet shot yet.
Elliott. Robinson crashes the board. Comes up with it. Blocked by Cooper.
One of the best ever in the NBA, by the way.
Kersey at the other end. Basket good and a foul against San Antonio. You think the word is quick in this one?
Now you'll see an excellent block by Cooper. They picked him up because of his shot blocking ability. Anytime the whole year is there, because the block ignites the fast break. And in Cooper, you're getting a guy who's usually in the top 10 in shot blocks.
Willie Anderson with the foul. And the penalty situation in effect now for San Antonio, their 5th.
We said at the top of the show that San Antonio must get back and establish transition defense so that they can eliminate the easy fast break basket.
David Wingate, been a hot shooter lately. This is that, but they have under 2 minutes to go. 5-point lead for Portland. Each team now has enjoyed a 5-point lead. Drexler way off, and he knew it. David Robinson, outlets for Willie Anderson. Burkowski. And a pass thrown behind him, and now Portland again.
Anytime that you're in the open floor in a game like today, as big as this is, your shot selection, you have to have a chance of making your shot.
Cooper setting a pick. Burkowski fights through it. Porter controlling. Here's Wayne Cooper.
Oh, I'm disappointed in that shot. If he would have rolled to the basket, he was wide open. There was not a defensive player on that side of the floor. You can't settle for a 20-foot jump shot when you can get a dunk.
San Antonio's missed 5 in a row. Make it 6.
Look up.
1 minute remaining and still a foul to give for Portland, leading by 5. Game 7. Winner plays Phoenix. And Porter is fouled, and they'll go to the line to shoot. 1-1.
Just appreciate the beauty of Drexler in the open floor. Look how he just releases that. Incredible hand control.
But David Robinson just picked up what would be for him a silly foul way outside, his second personal. And here is Porter shooting 2. Barry Cummings getting set to check back in for the Spurs, and he'll go in for Robinson. It goes out with 2 fouls, and here is Cliff Robinson. Have to guard David Robinson with Duckworth out of there, and Buck gets a hand leaving the game.
I thought the coaching staff made a good point about Terry Porter. They honestly feel that he is the best shooter on this team. And the second best shooter, well, coming in fairly soon, Petrovic, coming off the bench.
16-4 run the Blazers are on right now. There's the time remaining in the first quarter. Double team on Strickland. Anderson goes baseline. Double again. Stripped by Drexler. Porter will get an easy 2.
When they have their entire unit together like today, with Duckworth being relieved by Cooper, They have that quickness in forcing turnovers, and then they're so quick in the open floor.
And on the shot clock. Wingate misses from the corner. And a whistle. And it's still going to be San Antonio's possession. Rick Adelman. Team has bounced back all year long and counting on it again today after the loss in game number 6. They call the foul on Cooper. It's his first, and the first in the last 2 minutes for the Blazers. Playing for the last shot now. Wingate.
David has been playing big throughout this series, hitting the outside shot.
Final seconds. Cooper. No basket. So San Antonio falls behind as they have on this court throughout the series, and Terry Porter with a terrific first period. And that is the end of the first period with the score: the Portland Trail Blazers 31 and the San Antonio Spurs 24.
CBS Sports coverage of the 1990 NBA playoffs is sponsored by Schick, official razor of the NBA. Thompson's Water Seal Exterior Stain, beauty that lasts at last. And by today's Chevrolet, who invite you to see why nobody's winning like the heartbeat of America.
Back in Memorial Coliseum after 12 minutes, it's the Trailblazers leading by 7 as we start game 2, or period 2 of game number 7. Just talked to the San Antonio coaches, and they say Kevin Duckworth playing in this ball game hasn't changed their game plan at all. What they need is more touches offensively and second chance points. On the other side, what Duckworth has done for the Blazers is use that big body inside and freed up Buck Williams to crash the boards from the outside. Consequently, they have out-rebounded San Antonio. Dick?
And they have a hustle board here, Hubie.
Yeah, I think this is interesting because the blocks are even, the rebounds are there, but the key are the steals. The steals are igniting the fast break. And you must remember that Portland was 3rd in the league this year in forcing turnovers.
New set of guards for Portland. Danny Young, the point guard, is in, and Drazen Petrovic from Zagreb, Yugoslavia, is the other guard. Good shooter.
They have an excellent
foot block and a new 24-second clock. So this has been a barometer throughout the series. Points off of turnovers. That's what it is right now. San Antonio has outshot Portland in every game but one. That was the 5th game. And they're out shooting him slightly thus far. Petrovic going strong to the hoop, lost the ball, but it was last touched by Anderson off his foot.
They're saying that this young man, you know, he had 19 years of age. Notre Dame made a major recruit in trying to get him to come to the United States to play, but he's one of the most sought-after players in all of Europe.
Burrows, Percy, in and out. Cooper with a follow-up. And it's going to be San Antonio ball, and he's the last of the 5 European players in the NBA this year who's still in action.
Well, the thing about his game is he got off to a slow start because he missed part of the training camp, and then he was having difficulty coming off a pick, catching the basketball and shooting.
Strickland after Cummings, and the basket counts in a foul for hustling Rod Strickland, who's in there, along with Wingate, Cummings, Burkowski, and Anderson.
Now you're going to see that as the shot goes up here, a force for San Antonio has been the guy with the ball right now, Strickland on the offensive board, and it showed up in all 6 games. But now remember, when your point guard is underneath trying to get the offensive rebound, you forget about the ones that he does not get, and the fast break is going at the other end of the floor against you.
Danny Young picked up that foul. 5-point lead for the Blazers. Petrovic, that's what he does the best.
You know, he's 6'5", Dick. You have a tendency to look at him and think he's much smaller, but he's an excellent outside shooter and terrific off the dribble.
Small team out there for the Spurs. Cummings hits from the baseline, and Portland can go small as well as big.
See, if I'm Larry Brown, I'm down 5 right now, and Cummings and Robinson have not established any kind of game today yet.
Cliff Robinson. Cooper. Cooper is crashing the offensive board, and he's been the big man there. And There is David Robinson, who along with Sean Elliott returned to the San Antonio lineup. And keep in mind, Robinson coming in with 2 personal fouls. Kevin Duckworth returns for Portland.
Well, a situation like this, you know, you should go right at David Robinson at the other end of the floor.
8.5 elapsed, second period. Strickland looking for Robinson. Danny Young doubling him inside. And Robinson throws it away. Portland really confusing him now.
Well, right now, David is only 1 for 7 from the floor. He cannot get on the offensive board because Duckworth is doing an excellent job putting his body into his chest.
Hersey, Robinson, Duckworth, Petrovic, and Young are the 5 in there for the Trailblazers. Danny Young foul, former Seattle player, and Sean Elliott. They get Strickland, picks up 2.
Now here you have Duckworth working with his way. And I see how they're laying off the Strickland. They're daring Strickland to hit the outside shot. Now watch Duckworth right up. See, he didn't go for that head fake, forcing the turnover.
Danny Young spent 4 years with the Sonics, the last 2 years with Portland.
Now the reason why Larry Brown is keeping Strickland out here right now, he is leading this team in 39 minutes a game throughout the playoffs. He needs them on the floor to create.
He's led the team in assists in every game of the series. Lead of 6 now for the Blazers. Just under 10 minutes remaining in the first half. Robinson, and again, they're out of sync offensively.
Well, you never throw the ball to a post guy until he establishes position and calls for the ball. If you do, you are looking for a forced turnover.
Well, tomorrow the Eastern Conference Final begins. The basketball show at 12:30, and then at 1 o'clock from the Palace, the Bulls and Pistons. They did it last year, a 6-game series won by Detroit. Jordan and Dumars, the big guards, going at it. What are your thoughts, Hubie, about this series?
Well, big test for Detroit, naturally. Michael scoring 41 points a game, that's all. But this is the ball club who last year, through the entire year, he shot over 50% against everyone else in the league. Against Detroit, 36 or 37%.
Who else has to play big for the Bulls, do you think?
Well, they need it all up front. Cartwright and whoever replaces him, whether it's Purdue or King at that center position. And then on the corners, they need big games from Grant and from Pippen. That will relieve a lot of the pressure from Michael. But then again, I think that fourth quarter, Michael Jordan's quarter.
Buck Williams is back in the game, along with Duckworth. Flip Robinson up front, Petrovic, and Danny Young at guard. Petrovic for a 3. And Robinson gets the rebound. He's still 1 for 7 from the field, but has 5 boards. Williams playing cat and mouse with Cummings, and a foul committed against Butler.
You know, early in this game, we made a strong statement. We said that San Antonio does not have a low post game. By that, we mean that they flash in and out from the opposite side of the floor. And to date, they only have 3 baskets in the painted area.
There's Robinson with a quick turnaround. Still struggling, 1 for 8 now. Strickland got a piece of it. Duckworth. Williams outfights Cummings. That's a big effort play.
I don't like the way Duckworth's releasing the ball. The ball is coming out of there almost spinning sideways rather than with the good rotation.
A little over 3 minutes gone by, second period. Off the screen, Petrovic fakes Wingate and misses. Robinson out. Chance for a little bit of an advantage. Nullified, and now a turnover. Strickland loses it again. Young to Petrovic.
What a beautiful move by Young. And then Petrovic running the baseline without the basketball.
8-point lead. Biggest was 9 for the Trailblazers.
Yeah, that was right on the other side of the floor.
Petrovic gets knocked to the floor and gets hit hard.
Two-shot foul, Joey is saying right there. Joey Crawford. What is happening here now?
Crawford will go to the side as Rick Adelman is incensed. Is he looking for a punching foul?
Well, I think what they're talking about here, you know, Petrovic really got knocked to the floor. Strickland got himself right out of there. But in this situation, the Portland bench is saying, let's look at it right here. Now, here he comes off the big bam. Forearm into the face by Strickland.
Two-shot foul, an elbow, and the third personal foul against Rod Strickland. So Larry Brown's going to have to do something about the point guard spot now.
Well, right now, the Portland coaching staff, they're all over Strickland. Strickland is waving at the staff. What he should do is move away from the Portland bench. That's very smart. You can't lose your focus. You are the point guard, the team leader. They need your creativity to get down inside the lane. Larry is looking at the situation, knows that their team is in the wrong because he really did lay Petrovic down.
And foolish of Strickland to keep walking over and baiting the bench over there. Wrong side to be on. He'll go out with 3 fouls.
Now, this is going to hurt a little bit with San Antonio because you have 2 big guards really in the backcourt with Wingate and Willie Anderson. The ball handling is not there.
The other point guard, and he hasn't gotten the call, is Johnny Moore, the veteran, who is not really in style with this kind of San Antonio team, and he elects to go, as you mentioned, with 2 shooting guards. 3 fouls for Strickland. Here's Cummings. Robinson, and a loose ball foul. Let's see if it's against David. It is. It's his 3rd foul. So now the Spurs are really in trouble.
They're in trouble because Terry Cummings has been able to beat Buck Williams off the dribble, except he keeps getting himself caught behind the backboard, and he has not had a good shot release at the basket yet. Now here on the miss, you'll see on the miss, David comes right up over the top of Duckworth. That's the advantage of the big body.
Frank Burkowski replaces David Robinson. Duckworth with a turnaround, and you're right, he looked awkward trying that shot.
Remember, this is a guy who averages 16 points a game.
9-point lead, Burkowski. The rebound by Buck Williams, and Portland can open up their biggest lead of this first half. Petrovic for 3.
He's been open the entire half. He's had 5 good shots.
Sean Elliott got the rebound and a foul against the Blazers. It'll be their 3rd team foul and the first against Razin Petrovic. But Clyde Drexler will come back in, and there is the oldest man in the NBA, 39-year-old Caldwell Jones.
Caldwell, they call him Pop. We understand that, you know, Caldwell just loves softball. Come on, he's got his cap and his bat ready to go. But the family from McGee, Arkansas, 4 brothers have played in the NBA, and their other brother, Oliver, is the head coach at Albany State. Matter of fact, the assistant coach is another brother,
Right.
Melvin.
Whistle. An illegal defense called against the Trailblazers. Duckworth, I believe, was the guilty party. Caldwell Jones and Moses Malone are the only players left in the league that played in the ABA. In fact, Jones went to Houston in the deal that sent Moses to Philadelphia, where Philly won the title.
Well, you know, when Caldwell broke in, he was a big-time scorer when he played with St. Louis and San Diego.
Sean Elliott misses. Spurs are cold from the field. 9-point lead. Flip Robinson. They foul him. 4th team foul on San Antonio. And number 2 on Sean Elliott.
You step back if you're coaching this game today. There's David Robinson, who's, you know, really frustrated. And then the guy that must make it happen for you is sitting right next to him. There have been a ton of outside shots at both ends of the floor. No one can hit consistently at either end. So mostly everything that we're seeing today is either on the foul line or below the foul line off the dribble.
Flip Robinson starting the previous 6 games, his first starts of the year. And the biggest lead of the game right now is 10 for the Blazers. 7 minutes now remaining in the first half.
Yeah, I like this strategy, Portland. Press David Wingate down the floor, make him labor a little bit and run clock.
Drexler on Willie Anderson. Open is Wingate, and he banks that one.
See, Larry Brown said they've been allowing Wingate to be open, and fortunately for us, he's making the shot with great consistency.
Good pass, Drexler to Clint Robinson, and he lost it. Got deflected away. Now the Spurs again.
See, you can't play soft today. The bumping and grinding, it's going to go uncalled.
Cummings, short. He's way off. Cummings so far has 6 points.
Good, I don't like every time San Antonio misses, you do not see a white shirt on the offensive board. I mean, a dark shirt.
Porter. And for Porter now, 15 points. He's the leading scorer in the game. Halfway through this first half, Portland led by 7 after 1 quarter. Elliott in the crowd gets the hoop.
Very tough shot.
Lead pass to Drexler. Gets his own rebound. Misses it again. He had 2 chances there. 2 good ones.
You don't see that happen very often. Usually he'll be down in there and he'll dunk the ball.
This place wouldn't be filled to capacity if that happened too often either, Hugh. 9 on the shot clock.
They just have to take their time, Dick. They're only down 8 and they're having a horrendous shooting half.
And Willie Anderson from outside. Anderson with 12 is the Spurs leading scorer. And now a timeout is called. Well, the Spurs have 2 big people with 3 fouls, yet they trail only by 6 points with that much time remaining in the second period.
We'd like to show you, here's Petrovic right here. We'd like to show you what started this confrontation with Strickland. Now keep an eye on him as he's moving up the floor. Now as soon as he gets right here they are. Watch how he catches Strickland with his left arm. Boom, there's your hit. Now, at the other end of the floor, all right, now here comes Petrovic off of the, now see, boom, Strickland's going to tell him, you can't do that to me, I'm going to lay you out. Now what's the problem with that? See, you just can't do that when you are the leading point guard. You can't give the other team 2 foul shots, and most important, you can't put yourself on the bench when you are the leading guy in minutes for your basketball team. And I might underline that by saying adding 12 assists per game.
I already have. Now, Portland, 21% shooting thus far, and San Antonio has outscored them 10-9, so the Trailblazers have to be very pleased with that combination. Kevin Duckworth. First basket of the game.
What a beautiful spin move, and he came out of it totally under control.
Under 5 minutes remaining, first half. Willie Anderson from the baseline hits. Dick Stockton, Hubie Brown, Tim Brannon. We've got James Brown coming your way at the half as well here in Portland. Anderson is yet to miss. He's a perfect 6 for 6 from the field for the Spurs.
They've been trying to post Drexler, and now they're going to bring Kersey to the ball.
Open is Duckworth. He has shot in this floor before, I have a feeling.
Yeah. Oh, he was out there. He was rooting that one in with his arms. Okay.
Got it down to 6. Now it's up to 8 again. Cummings, triple team, knocked away by Kersey. This is a 2-on-1 Drexler.
The glide, the slide, how quick he dunks it. Quick movement.
San Antonio needs a bromide after all of that. And Drexler trying to get another steal, commits the foul, and that will be the 4th team foul. Each team now has 4, and Clyde's first. 10-point lead matches the biggest of the game for the Trailblazers. At one time, early on, the Spurs led by 5.
Both teams are shooting the penalty on the next foul.
That's right. Plenty of time on the shot clock. Sean Elliott. Tough shot. Offensive rebound by Caldwell Jones, and he'll get the hoop and will take a trip to the free throw line as well.
Well, Caldwell's man left him that time to help out on the penetration. See, here's his man right there. There's Duckworth going. That opens up the center. Anytime your man leaves you in the low post area, you should go to the front of the rim, because if the shot is missed, you're right in perfect position for an offensive rebound.
Here's Frank Burkowski giving Terry Cummings a breather. Cummings goes out having scored 6. Foul was on Kersey, his second, and Portland is in the penalty. First time on the line in this series. Spins out. And the lead is 8 now. That's the time remaining in the first half. Game 7.
Throughout the series, Dick, you know, San Antonio has only shot 70%, which is very poor by NBA standards on the foul line.
Buck Williams working against Caldwell Jones. Duckworth keeps it going.
Watch the clock.
3 seconds on the clock. Porter has time and hits the 3. They lost track of that guy. 18 points for Terry Porter. Timeout, Spurs. Lead right now.
Now you watch. Now it's forced a bad shot by Buck. Now as Duckworth rebounds as it comes out, you'll see that the one guy who sees the shot clock is right there. That is his 14th three-point make in this series.
Halftime is coming up in 2 minutes and 52 seconds for what's in store. Let's go over to James Brown. JB?
All right, Dick, thank you very much. Coming up in just a few moments on the Prudential at the Half, we'll bring you up today with all the latest in sports news from around the world. We'll also attempt to answer the question of just what happened to the Los Angeles Lakers. And we'll also be joined live by a man who had a hand in the Lakers' demise, a guy who you might say, Jeff who? A man who many NBA insiders consider to be the most underrated player in the league. That and more coming up on the Prudential at the Half. Now let's go back over to Dick and Hubie.
Thank you, James Brown. 570 straight sellouts. This team lost only 6 games at home all year. And they're leading here, the Trailblazers, trying to advance to face Hornacek and the rest of the Phoenix Suns, leading by 11. Terry Cummings back in the game. He's posting up against Buck Williams. Buck pushing him out effectively. 4 on the shot clock. Anderson may not know it. And the 24-second buzzer expired.
The defensive quickness of Portland today has been outstanding. See, there's Larry's frustrated. When you run the passing game and they can't hit the cutters from the other side of the floor, you're relying on your guys to beat the defender off the dribble. And up until now, unsuccessful.
You know, and that's what San Antonio hoped what Portland would do, is revert to a one-on-one game, right?
Right.
Sean Elliott smothers Duckworth, setting a pick. And a moving pick against Duckworth. That'll be a foul on him, his 3rd. Let's go to Tim Brandt. Tim?
Dick, during that last time out, Larry Brown was telling his Spurs, let's just get out of this half. Let's just keep it close. Everything bad that can happen to us has happened. We're still in this thing. Let's just keep it close, get back on defense, and get out of this half. We'll be all right.
You know, that's such a great advice. You know, he's a great psychologist, Larry Brown, and he's right. Anderson low now to Cummings, double team. Anderson goes up.
See, on any double team, San Antonio is only taking 1 pass.
Right.
They're not making the second pass to the other side of the floor.
Or reversing the ball. Meanwhile, stepping on the line is Drexler.
Now keep an eye on this. Here's Kersey saying, my man is not coming off of this screen into the middle. And if he is, I'm going to be there.
Cliff Robinson replaces Kevin Duckworth, who goes out with 3 personal fouls. Surprise starter today after being out the entire series with a broken hand. Duckworth has scored 4. Cummings hits from long range for the first time today.
But their game is totally perimeter. That's why if you're Portland, you're happy with your club.
1:20 to go in the half. Porter goes in. An offensive foul as holding his ground was Caldwell Jones.
That was an excellent call. There was no way that Porter knew that once he got down in there, he was tripping, and he did not have his feet underneath him to elevate up for a good shot.
With that shooting advantage, they're still trailing by 9 here. Spurs. Here's that double and a good one on Cummings. 7 on the shot clock. Wingate crashing the board is Willie Anderson. Tipped up and in. That was Cummings, I believe. Barry Cummings now with 10 points. Under a minute to go. Kersey. Jerome Kersey.
See, you can never relax because Portland is determined to get the ball in quick and up over half court, and they allow Drexler to make things happen. Excellent pass that time.
Out of bounds, it's still Spurs ball, and they have 4 seconds to attempt a shot.
Cliff Robinson, terrific defense that time on the dribbler. The coaching staff at Portland, that's all they talk about, is that, hey, he was a steal in the draft, but the big key is how good he is defensively. Might be better on perimeter people than anybody we have on this team.
20-second timeout called by Larry Brown. Celtics and Lakers eliminated for the first time since '79. Phoenix has been winning on the road. Michael Jordan is Jordan, and Detroit's defense is what everyone expected thus far in the playoffs. And it's kind of unusual that for the first time we don't have the Lakers and the Celtics. We still have Detroit, but it looks like the surprises are starting to take place now in the league.
Well, out here we look and we see you either have Phoenix, a very, very exciting team with Chambers and Johnson, and here, whoever survives this ball game, we have a number of marquee people. Now, San Antonio is hanging right around in this ball game, and we know that David Robinson has only played 13 minutes.
And has scored only 2 points. It is still San Antonio's ball, and they now have 2 seconds to attempt a shot. That's the new rule this year, and one that rewards defensive play.
The key that you do not want to have happen if you're playing defense right now is a lob to the front of the rim.
They're not going to get it off again. Twice now, the Spurs did not get the shot off in time.
The difference in the trapping. When Portland traps you, San Antonio's having trouble making the next pass. But when San Antonio traps, Portland is having no problem finding the free people.
Difference of about 3 seconds on the shot clock to the game clock here in the final seconds of the first half. Trailblazers up by 9. Pickens spot up to Kersey. Cliff Robinson valiantly, but now releasing with Cummings with 2.5 seconds to go.
Don't fall asleep.
And Porter, a block on Anderson.
That's right.
And Hugh Evans was right there to make the correct call.
Good, because he did not allow the guy to come down. You know, he caught the basketball. You see it right here. As he came down, he came right underneath him. You need that step, the one step.
Evans was to the right of the picture there, right on top of the play. And Porter will go to the line to shoot 2. Larry Brown. 20-second timeout called by Portland.
Now, Larry's all upset, but what you have to watch out for right now, see, UB is right over there. UB Evans is right there telling Larry his interpretation of the call. You'll see for yourself when the player is airborne, as he comes down, you see he step right underneath him and split him. You're not allowed to do that in the NBA.
Larry Brown has had to coach this half with Strickland on the sidelines with 3 personals. David Robinson, who's played only 13 minutes, he also has 3 fouls and has scored only 2 points. Down by 7, though.
Now you're shooting on the line, you're shooting 2. Now the thing that you cannot do is allow San Antonio to jump out of bounds and make a long pass up to the half court or even deeper. And more important, the guy catch the basketball and get off a good shot.
Duckworth is the only Trailblazer with 3 personal fouls. And here's Porter, perfect from the line, 6 for 6 thus far. First miss of the game.
Well, you know, that's rare. He's shooting 89% for the year. He was 6th in the league on the foul line.
For Porter. The lead is 8.
Smart defense. Big man on the ball.
And there is Cummings. the basket. It'll count. Home run again. We've seen it a million times, Hubie Brown. They were careless defensively, and a quiet crowd now as the Trailblazers lead 52-46. That's the end of the first half with the score. Portland leading by 6. James Brown will be along with the Prudential at the half, coming up right after this message.
CBS Sports presents The Prudential at the Half, sponsored by the companies of the Prudential. Come to the Prudential and build your future on the rock.
On this, the 10th anniversary of the eruption of the Mount St. Helens volcano, the small tremors in the first half created by Portland, they lead it 52-46. And good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Prudential at the Half. I'm James Brown, sitting in for Pat O'Brien and Bill Raftery, both back in New York, boning up for the NBA Draft Lottery. In the meantime, let's get right down to business. In baseball news in the American League up to now, in New York, the Kansas City Royals and the New York Yankees are all tied at 4 apiece. That in the top of the 4th inning. Mike Witt, recently acquired by the Yankees in exchange for Dave Winfield, striking out Bo Jackson, a frustrated move reminiscent of last season. And again, that score right now tied at 4 all in the top of the 9th. California Angels 10-7 over Toronto, that game in the 8th inning, and a final Cleveland over top of Seattle by 1, 4-3. Meanwhile, swinging to action on the links in golf earlier today, many of you saw in the Southwestern Bell Colonial, Ben Crenshaw was leading when we went off the air today. He has since slipped in his play, bogeying the 17th hole. He's tied for the lead at 4 under, along with Curtis Strange. And, of course, we'll be able to see live final round coverage of that tournament tomorrow afternoon right here on CBS at 3:30 Eastern Time. That'll be preceded at 12:30 by the basketball show, followed at 1 o'clock by Game 1, the Eastern Conference Final between the defending world champion Detroit Pistons and the Chicago Bulls. Now, perhaps the biggest story this past week in NBA had to do with the demise of the defending Western Conference champions, Los Angeles Lakers. Now, when you consider that L.A. led the league in the record this year with a 63-19 record, minus the services of the retired Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the question naturally to be asked is, what happened to the Lakers? Our Jim Gray was in search of an answer.
I knew that things would be tough, but not like this. You could never see things like this coming. Not out of your wildest dreams. Never. Because I'm so used to excellence from this team and excelling, and it just never happened.
The last time this happened to the Lakers was 4 years ago, when a last-second prayer by Ralph Sampson was answered, sending Houston rocketing into the finals, while leaving the Lakers knocked out cold in the 3rd round. Throughout the 80s, it was the Lakers who were the envy of all sports. They made the Forum home to the world title, capturing 5 championships in the decade. And they won like a family almost, whose spirit seemed like it would go on forever. But could it? This year, the Phoenix Suns looked a lot like the Lakers. And the Lakers sometimes looked a little lost. Also lost was some of the unity. Instead of a family, the Lakers began to grow apart. Pat Riley, after being named Coach of the Year, ironically, was where some players were privately pointing the finger. While Magic lived up to expectations, others didn't. Unable to reach into their past for present glory, performance and communication broke down. Full of respect for Riley, fact is many players think his message is no longer getting through.
When you be with a coach for a long time, some guys try to block him out.
Yeah, I think some guys, probably ignore it, but they still know that, that's just the way it is.
That's all NBA players do is complain about coaches. And the first sign of trouble, everyone wants to bomb the ship, and they start with the captain.
I would like to think that wouldn't be the case here. But it's fashionable talk. Because that's what I read all the time,
But we can't lay the blame on him because he's not out there shooting.
This is the Forum. You may not recognize it. The Lakers don't. But in fact, the Lakers are having a hard time recognizing themselves these days. The sounds of silence this time of year are rather eerie here. Showtime is gone. The magic is over. The real worry is, will it ever return? And will Pat Riley return? He won't be asked to leave, and he says he's 99% certain he will be back. full of professional pride, not winning the title 2 straight years has taken its toll, and that's what's leaving the 1% chance open.
Coaching takes a tremendous amount of emotion to keep up that high every game, every year. I'm not sure it's really good for a human being to be a coach for 8 or 10 years.
Am I going to be back? Am I going to be back? What is that movie, Poltergeist? When that little girl sits in front of that screen and it's all fuzzy, and she says, "They're back." I think we're going to be back.
With you?
With me? No, we're going to think about that.
I talked with the Lakers spokesman earlier this morning, and he said this past Thursday was the first time that Pat Riley was not definitive about coming back with the Lakers. He'll take the next 2 weeks to reevaluate his position. Well, when we return, we'll talk with the man who had a major hand in booting the Lakers out of the playoffs, Jeff Hornacek. Prudential at the Half continues after this message and a word from your local station. Portland Trailblazers holding to a 6-point lead over the San Antonio Spurs. Now, I mentioned at the top of the show, this is the 10th anniversary of the eruption of the Mount St. Helens volcano. I think erupt is a proper adjective to describe the play of Jeff Hornacek during the playoff series. And Jeff Hornacek of the Phoenix Suns joins us live now from Phoenix, Arizona. Jeff, I mentioned that you were considered by most general managers the most underrated player in the NBA. With your playoff performance, do you think you've dispatched that title of underrated, most underrated?
Well, James, I've been underrated almost my whole career, from high school to college until the pros now. So I don't mind it at all. I just go out there and try to do my job, do it well, and hope the team wins.
Well, do your job well is what you have done. You averaged 17 points a game during the regular season, 21 points a contest against the Lakers. Did you guys notice anything before the series with the Lakers or during the series that told you they were vulnerable, and what was it?
Well, Kevin Johnson had said to me after the Utah series that, Jeff, you have to be more aggressive. The Lakers could be your series. Magic is a big guy. He's 6'9", and it'll be tough for him to cover you as well as it was hard for me to cover him. And Kevin got on me just to be more aggressive, and I was more aggressive, able to drive the ball to the hoop a little bit more, and I shot a lot of free throws.
Well, certainly you're watching this game with interest. One of these two teams you'll be playing. Jeff, against the Spurs, you guys were 0-4 during the regular season, 2-3 against the Blazers, and you haven't won here since 82-83. Size up, if you will, the strengths and weaknesses of these two teams and what you guys can do to be successful.
Well, they're both great teams, and they're both playing extremely well. And both teams haven't lost on their home court, so we're going to be the underdog no matter where we play. Portland's got great athletes on their team with Drexler and Porter and Kersey really running out and getting on the break. And for us to be successful against them, we have to stop them from getting their easy fast break dunks and layups. On the other hand, San Antonio's got Robinson in the middle. Willie Anderson has been playing well today, and they're just also a well-balanced team, but they take the opportunity to run when it comes, but they're not like Portland where they try to run it every time.
All right, Jeff, thank you very much for joining us, and we'll tag this saying you're no longer the most underrated, but certainly the most appreciated ball player in the NBA. Good luck in the next round. And certainly we know that Jeff Hornacek will be watching with great interest the second half of this contest between the Portland Trailblazers and the San Antonio Spurs, as will I, as I get set to send it back to Dick Stockton and Hubie Brown. Thank you for joining us on the Prudential at the Half, and enjoy the second half right here on CBS.
The Prudential at the Half has been sponsored by the companies of the Prudential. Come to the Prudential and build your future on the rock. CBS Sports coverage of the 1990 NBA playoffs is sponsored by Wendy's Old Fashioned Hamburgers. The best hamburgers and a whole lot more. Armor All, because only Armor All works like Armor All. And by Jeep and Eagle, official vehicles of the NBA.
The Blazers would have a bigger lead if they hadn't fallen asleep in the final moments of that first half, yet San Antonio trying to hang in there as the playoffs continue with David Robinson and Rod Strickland each playing just 13 minutes in the first half, and David Robinson only 2 points on 1 for 8 shooting. They've got to get more out of him. And a few moments ago, Hubie Brown had some words with Larry Brown, the Spurs coach.
All right, Larry, difficult half, but you're only down 6.
No, I'm thrilled that we could go in the locker room only down 6. We had Rod and David on the bench for a long period of time, and they had the crowd into it, and we hung in. We were really fortunate the last minute and a half. We had some good things happen, and we have 24 to go, and we have a chance to win.
What do you do with David to get him going?
I don't know. It's been like this the whole series, Hubie. You know, he hasn't realized that it's 48 minutes. He made some silly fouls and settled for jump shots. He's got to be more aggressive on the board and post up better.
Best of luck.
Thanks, Hubie.
David Robinson failed to score double figures in just 2 games this year, once in the regular season, and the other time was in game 1 when he scored only 9. Portland will have Porter and Drexler at guard, and up front it'll be Duckworth at center. He's got 3 fouls, along with Buck Williams and Jerome Kersey. Willie Anderson and Rod Strickland at guard. It's Cummings, David Robinson, and Sean Elliott. Buck Williams had a very quiet offensive first half, but had 6 rebounds.
I expect to see more movement, Dick, out of San Antonio.
Elliott tried to pass it into Robinson, and Kersey picked it off. And Kersey hits the first basket of the second half.
Kersey's had a big ball game up to date. He's really doing a solid job. That's his 13th point. More important, it's his 6th field goal. Really excellent.
Terry Cummings scored the last 8 points for San Antonio in the first half. Elliott goes baseline against Kersey, and a nice move by the rookie from Arizona.
Well, Larry Brown said in the second half of the season he's playing with much more confidence, and the surprise is he feels he's an excellent defender. But Strickland has got to do something from the outside perimeter to get them to play honest defensively.
He did that early in the game.
So you're not comfortable doing something. That's the key.
Kersey missed, no white shirts underneath. Cummings rebound. Lead is 6. Opportunity for San Antonio to really get back in it. Robinson. Rebound, Kersey.
The big thing is to bump David Robinson out and then don't let him get on the offensive board.
Duckworth. San Antonio comes down with it. The Spurs outshot Portland 50 to 42% in the first half.
What a great steal by Kersey. Talk about anticipation.
Those are the effort plays that both coaches talked about yesterday.
Kersey's yelling for the ball because he's got David Robinson in a one-on-one situation.
That's all changed now, and the clock shows 6 seconds. Porter misses a 3, and the rebound Robinson.
See, if I'm coach of Portland, I don't like what I'm seeing. Too many outside shots.
Anderson inside to Cummings, and he's fouled, and he can make it 10 straight points. There's the shooting percentage. Anderson, Willie 6 for 7. Porter made 7 out of 8. Portland went to the line 11 more times than San Antonio, and the points off turnovers, a big barometer through the series.
Well, you know, people look at this and say, well, San Antonio only shot 5 foul shots. There's something wrong. No, if you stay perimeter and shoot jump shots, you do not slice off the dribble and go to the basket, or you do not have a low post game, you're never going to get fouled to get on the line.
People always think it's the officials, right?
That's right. And you have to admit, in that first half, Portland was taking the ball to the basket much more than San Antonio.
Drexler committed his 2nd personal foul to send Cummings to the line. And he now has 16, does Terry. He has scored 30 or more in 3 of the 6 games in this series. Still a 6-point game. Trailblazers in white lead. Drexler with a follow-up. That's short. Robinson with another rebound. That's 10 for the Admiral.
The last 5 shots have all been fall-away jump shots.
Cummings. Strickland inside. Very nearly committed his 4th foul. But here comes Portland on the break. Porter goes all the way to Williams. Good penetration.
That was excellent. He took both defenders right to him. Both thought that he was going to lay it up before he dropped off the pass.
56-50, Portland. And Robinson is fouled, and Duckworth may have picked up his fourth, and he has.
I watched Porter take all of them right to the rim here. And then out of the corner, right to the right side, here's Buck Williams showing.
Duckworth will go out with his fourth personal foul, replaced by Wayne Cooper, the shot blocker.
See, to me, anytime that you're going to combine Duckworth and Cooper, what do they mean to the team? It's 20 points and 10 rebounds over an entire season.
Strickland goes out again to Robinson. It is still San Antonio ball. Everyone, few people, including Porter, hit the deck.
Well,
he got hit under the chin.
The Portland people want the charge. The San Antonio people want the foul. So it's a neutral. It's out of bounds.
That's right. Canceling them all out.
All right.
Cummings. Percy the rebound. David Robinson is only 1 for 10 from the field, and his team trails by only 6.
Portland's got to get their offense together. They've gone away from the pick and roll, which was so successful. They've gone away from the low boxing, which was double teamed, into this why all these forced jump shots with many seconds on the clock.
Percy with a forced shot, but he had 2 seconds on the clock, but it was forced. Tim Brandt.
All right, Dick, 3 things that are concerning Rick Adelman right now. Number 1 is the shooting percentage of his team. They aren't getting good shots. He wants more movement, as Hubie just said. Also, they got to keep Robinson in check. He didn't have a Robinson-type first half, and they want to keep Duck in the ball game. He just picked up his 4th. That's his major concern right now.
He may be 0 for 3. Willie Anderson off balance, but off the glass. Willie with an Olympian move. He was on the Olympic team, and again, a 4-point game. And Antonio hanging in there on the road. The home team has won every game so far in this 6-game series today. Buck Williams fouled before the shot, no basket. And that'll be the first foul against the San Antonio Spurs, and it'll be Cummings with his 2nd.
Watch the degree of difficulty on the fade here, and no swish, played the glass beautifully.
That's why they have the glass, to use it. You always go crazy when people use the glass. Elliott's 3rd personal foul, so they give it to Sean, and he's got 3. Cummings still has 1. Glide the glide. Rebound by Robinson. That's 11 for David Robinson. Anderson out to Strickland in a crowd. He knows how to arc those shots in the lane, doesn't he?
I like what's happening for San Antonio. They're pushing the ball, and they're looking for transition. Right now, the coaching staff of Portland very upset because the entire game isn't outside of 15 feet. The game is being played outside of 20.
Well, since we're west here, we have to have the 6-shooter in action here. Let's see if he can knock down those bottles. The most improved teams, bottom up, Boston, Indiana, Portland, and yes, San Antonio, an NBA record 35 games, improvement over last year's 21 and 61 record.
The interesting statement there, San Antonio has 10 new players of their 12, and they still could put together a record like that and be one of the 6 best on the road. And then you look at Portland, they have 6 new players of their 12. That's excellent coaching at both benches here over an 82-game schedule.
Robinson with 5 rebounds. Here in this 3rd period, the whole Portland team just has 3. And staying out of foul trouble has got to be one of the things for David to think about, as well as Rod Strickland. 7 minutes, 10 seconds to go, 3rd period.
See, if you're going to stay perimeter and launch all these long bombs and miss, then you better get on the offensive board. But with Robinson holding you to 1 shot, then naturally everything is in the tempo of San Antonio.
Williams setting a pick. It's a pick and roll. Drexler saw an opening. Open again is Porter. He's a tough guy to leave open for those 3s, and he's got another one. That's 3.
What a great game he's having, because they have totally shut down Drexler.
22 points for Porter. Anderson to Strickland, penetrating again with that familiar arc. Rod Strickland, team was 18 and 6 as a starter the last 24 games of the year. Rob moved into the lineup. Percy in the corner. Drexler crashes the boards, and good hustle. It's still Portland ball.
You know, it's disappointing me about Kersey right now. He's launching all of these jump shots. You have 16 seconds on a shot clock, and he's not even trying to take Sean Elliott off the dribble, who's in foul trouble.
Well, they may be trying for a scoring record here. That's true. Wayne Cooper sets a pick for Porter. Buck Williams beats Anderson to the ball. Boy, he's out hustling everyone he's gone against. Drexler air ball. Percy inside. Stepped on the line. No basket. And San Antonio with a chance now to cut it to 1.
See, sometimes when you have a star player like Drexler and a guy is cold, give him a little quick pop out, one-on-one, clear the side, let him take it to the basket. Even if he doesn't score, he gets fouled, he gets on the line, and get him out of the snide that he's in.
And Rod Strickland in the lane again, and it's a one-point game, 59-58. Less than half to go in the third.
I tell you, Strickland is doing an excellent job penetrating with that soft shot.
Strickland and Robinson each playing with 3 personal fouls. Porter continues his brilliant offensive play today. 24.
You know, he comes off that pick and roll. He's looking jump shot all the way. And it's interesting that they don't step out and trap him. Make him give up the basketball.
3-point lead. Anderson fakes. Drexler goes in. And a foul. It'll be a 2-shot foul coming up.
Here we have Porter coming off this pick. Now you see how he jockeyed the man in, but he's looking jump shot all the way. And if you're going to lay back, then he's going to be open all the time as long as he steps back off the pick.
Sean Elliott goes out. Frank Burkowski replaces it. Terry Porter with the foul. And here's David Robinson, who Rick Adelman said yesterday, the most mature rookie I've ever seen in the NBA. Now with 3 points, it's 1 out of 2.
You know, if there is a weakness in his game, it's the foul line, because he only shoots 69%.
Here's Kersey again, hitting from outside. Jerome with 15. And the lead is 4 now. Trailblazers had an 11-point lead in the late stages of the half. Cummings is fouled, and the Spurs are getting inside now almost every time.
Yeah, but you see, Buck Williams is not allowing Terry Cummings to come to the middle of the floor. And that's where he loves to operate. Come off the wing, get into the middle, hit the jumper, or take it to the basket. He keeps sending him to the baseline where he is getting defensive help.
Second foul on Williams, and the 14th foul on Portland. People may not realize they got Cummings for veteran stability with a young team, and there you see Porter's work so far. Cummings is only 29 years old. People think he's must be 35.
Well, some people forget the trade. They gave Alvin Robertson and Craig Cadillac Anderson $2 million for Cummings. Great tap that time by Burkowski.
Tipped in, a big one. And the lead is down to 1 again. Crowd, and they'll call Burkowski with the foul. He just had his arms up, but Porter will shoot a pair, and that's the second team foul against San Antonio.
Watch on the left of your screen on the line. Burkowski's the second guy in. He steps in, no block out that time. Buck Williams never put a body on Frank.
Here's Porter, 24 points and 6 assists so far.
Looking at your offense and you have one guy like this, he's scoring a ton of points and he's your point guard. Well, you know, you have to examine whatever else we're running here. You know, we're not getting anything. But more important, you don't want to get lost and try to have your point guard beat them by himself.
You know, Porter was one of the top playmakers in the league this year, but Drexler and not Porter has led the team in assists in every game so far.
Well, a good question comes up by a lot of people, and they say, is Porter a point guard or an off guard? But, you know, they say they got to ask him to shoot, but he's really picked up in this series. Done a terrific job.
David Robinson is deflected by Cooper. Strickland still in a crowd.
Great hustle by Rod.
Here's Sean Elliott. And again, a one-point game, 65-64 in the drama here in the third period of a Game 7 of the Western semifinals. Winner plays Phoenix, best of 7, for the right to go to the NBA Final. Winding down to 4 minutes to go in the third.
See, Willie Anderson doing a great job on the post on Drexler.
Cooper. Great pass from Drexler and a good move by Cooper. Anderson at the other end. Elliott has it knocked away by Kersey, and a foul against Strickland, and that'll be 4 on Rod.
Now you see the move. Now watch as Robinson brings a shot right back with that left hand. Cooper, you know, right around that 7-foot, put the block. Now here you're going to see, you know, real good hustle here. Porter getting his hands down inside. An excellent move and hustle by Strickland to save this. Now here we have a good dribble. There the hands of Kersey knocking that one free.
David Wingate has replaced Strickland, goes to the bench with 4 personal fouls. He has been an igniter for the Spurs. Let's see how they react with him on the bench.
See, Drexler is not in the flow of the game from an offensive standpoint.
There's the shot clock. Ball away by Kersey. Tipped in, no basket. And we'll have an offensive foul called, and it'll be against Wayne Cooper.
That was an incredible follow-up because his hand was underneath that shot. Watch how Cooper goes up here and gets this shot. Look at the position of his hand, how he taps that up. Now that is hard to do. Put it right off the glass.
It's the 5th team foul and the penalty situation, and David Robinson on the line. Can cut the Portland lead to 1. But he's got 11 rebounds. Again, he misses a free throw. 3:20 to go, 67-65. And that'll be Wingate with the foul, and that's the 4th team foul against the Spurs. One more, and they'll be in the penalty.
Larry Brown, big accolades for David Wingate. Says that he's playing at his all-time best. He's become an excellent defender for them. And how about the way he came here on the recommendation of Mo Cheeks?
Sure. Wingate and Cheeks came from Philadelphia. Plenty of time on the shot clock. Double on Williams. Cooper. And now they're in the penalty in a pushing foul. Sean Elliott. And that'll be his 4th foul. So Elliott will have to go out.
Sean got caught in a mismatch that time and tried to push off in order to give himself some defensive area there.
Terry Cummings will replace Sean Elliott. We're at Memorial Coliseum in Portland, Oregon. Dick Stockton, Hubie Brown, Tim Brandt, along with James Brown. And it's game number 7. Both of these teams are foreign to 7th games. Portland has never played in one, and San Antonio hasn't been in a 7th game since 1981. And, of course, these kids have practically not even been in the league, most of them. Rookies, second-year players. Cooper with the free throw. 3 minutes exactly to go. And a timeout called by Larry Brown. San Antonio come back and made this a close one. First straight lineup tomorrow, the basketball show, then the Bulls and Pistons game 1 in the final round of the Southwestern Bell Colonial. Now let's go up to Tim Brandt, and I mean up. Timmy?
All right, Dick, I'm way up in section 84 with Mr. and Mrs. Robinson. Mr. Robinson, I've taken his seat. I'm going to turn to Frida Robinson. Frida, does David get frustrated when they don't get him the ball inside and he's not scoring like he normally does?
I don't know. I can't speak for David because he doesn't talk about his teammates. He doesn't talk about the team. He always blames himself for whatever the outcome is. But I personally feel like I'm a little concerned because this is the second half and the ball is not going in nearly enough inside because you either get 3 things when the ball goes inside. That is, he draws the foul because they're going to go after him. He's going to draw the foul. He's going to make the basket or he's going to miss the basket. So you've got 2 positive things that you're going to get by going inside because we're not an outside shooting team. And that bothers me a little bit. But other than that, I'm optimistic about the outcome because we should have been better in the first half.
All right, thank you very much. much. Let's go back to Dick Stockton. Dick?
All right, and if Frida can get down here and sit next to me, Hubie, we'll find a seat for you. You can watch the rest of this game in the crowd. I'll tell you, pretty thorough analysis from Mrs. Robinson. David goes up, draws the foul, and gets the basket. Can you believe that one? I don't believe that basket.
That's an amen. That's an amen.
That's right.
Right. And there it is. The offensive move gets, and not only you get the two, you get the foul.
And Wayne Cooper's third foul. If they would just listen to Frida Robinson.
That's right.
69-68 Blazers. 2:45 remaining, third period. On the shot clock.
He's got to take him.
Cummings knocks it away. Drexler. Wild shot. Rebound Robinson. And now San Antonio can take the lead. No over and back. Joey Crawford right there and Willie Anderson. And San Antonio just watched the ball come down. No one went after the ball. In fact, Blazers did the same. Winding 2 minutes to go and Porter is fouled.
You know, you look at this young man, Terry Porter, and he is having some day. He's the only player on Portland who is taking the ball into the painted area right here, challenging the front court people, and then getting to the foul. Now you say, why is that so important? Because David Robinson is in foul trouble, and if he does come to help out, you can drop the ball off to other people to score. But they need this also from their other two penetrators, Percy and Drexler.
They ought to spread the message around. Porter has 26 points. 2:06 remaining in the third quarter.
Now remember, in this series, Porter, Drexler, and Percy are all scoring over 20 points a game for Portland.
A 2-point lead for the Blazers. Terry Cummings has tied it up, and the first tie since 3 minutes to go in the first quarter. Knotted up at 70. Home team has won every game in this series. Percy from the corner gets his own rebound.
Cummings got a piece of that shot.
And Porter open again for another three, his fourth of the game. He is wide open every time.
They can talk big-time shots. I mean, he's all by himself, and many times that's the toughest way to make that three-point shot when you're by yourself out there.
Here's the pick and roll of David Robinson, and Robinson will go to the line again. Something he's done very well for a rookie.
Now here down in the right-hand side, you'll see Cummings coming off of a nice baseline pick that time by Frank Barkowski. Wide open shot.
Percy replaces Williams. Buck Williams gets a hand as he leaves. Cliff Robinson is in the game, and Danny Young has replaced Terry Porter, who goes out with 30 points. Keep in mind, Porter scored 38 in game number 5. That was the double overtime game. Portland by 1 again. They leave Cooper open. And Young gets the rebound, knocked away from behind by Willie Anderson. A 3-on-2 now. Wingate gives up the break. Terry Cummings. Rebound by Drexler, as the Spurs could have taken their first lead since the first quarter there. This is game number 7. Winner plays Phoenix in the Western Final. It'll still be Portland ball. I thought that was last touch by Barkowski, Hubie.
Yeah, from this angle, it looked that way. I'm just disappointed in the fact that Drexler is not looking to do his thing off the dribble, the slashing part of his game that he's, you know, so talented in doing. Well, he just can't get them all on the fast break there.
6 points in the game, none in the third quarter. Here it is, the last play.
There it is right there. For us, that was a tough angle. You couldn't see the ball that time. but I thought that it was first hit by Cooper, and then Burkowski did get a piece of it.
About 7 seconds differential between the game clock that you see and the shot clock. Double on David Robinson. Good speed. Burkowski, and they're going to jump it up. Kersey tied up Burkowski, and he'll have a jump ball.
Great block that time. Nice cut from the opposite wing by Burkowski. Excellent pass by David Robinson. Right there, see, anytime that you know defense is flowing on you, the presence of mind, do the pump fake, let the guy get up in the air, then step up in and make the layup or the three-point play.
Buck Williams replaces Wayne Cooper. And Caldwell Jones is also checked in. Jones is going to be defending against Buck Williams. Final shot coming up of the third quarter. Williams with a hook shot. And it won't count if it goes. And we are in for a 12-minute thriller, I believe, in Game 7. And David Robinson comes alive in the third period. And it's a 1-point lead for the Portland Trail Blazers over the Spurs. And we'll return to the Memorial Coliseum here in Portland after this message and a word from your local station.
Welcome back to Memorial Coliseum for the fourth and final period of Game 7 as the 1990 NBA playoffs continue here on CBS. With 12 minutes to go, the Blazers lead 73-72 by 1. The big story today, Kevin Duckworth playing with a broken hand. No one expected him to play. And Wayne Cooper with a bad back. He suffered back spasm. Haven't played in 2 weeks. No problems thus far. Cooper maybe a little bit fatigued, but that's it. Duck's still ready to go. Dick?
Duck's been on the bench a lot. Now Cooper is with him. 12 minutes to go plus. And keep in mind that Portland has shot 34% since the first quarter. And if it weren't for Terry Porter, as we talked during the intermission, where would they be?
Well, Larry Brown said yesterday, the big thing with us, we must establish defensively. And then when they get in their half-court game, they run such good plays for their people that we've got to move them off their spots.
Strickland with 4 fouls, starts at guard. Caldwell Jones off the rim into the hands of Williams. Good pass from David Robinson.
Caldwell Jones in there now. He's been playing excellent ball for them in the playoffs.
Drazen Petrovic in the game at guard, along with Danny Young, the backups for the Blazers. Cliff Robinson, Buck Williams, and Jerome Kersey up front.
First time we've seen this offensive set.
Williams gone in, draws the foul.
Now this is an excellent pass by David Robinson. Here comes Kersey once again. You know, they say he's the intangible man on this ball club. Unhurled is the hardest working guy that they have. He does everything. And once again, we're talking about another guy, you know, that was discovered from a, how about this size school, Longwood College.
They could play Wisconsin-Stevens Point in a 7-game.
You talk about 2 outstanding players representing their college.
Boy, that's for sure. David Wingate joins Rod Strickland at guard for the Spurs. Up front, David Robinson, Caldwell Jones, and Sean Elliott. Elliott and Strickland both playing with 4 fouls.
Remember, like we said earlier, Larry Brown likes to try to get it to Robinson moving. He feels he's much more effective.
Robinson is moving and hits the jumper. David Robinson, after a slow start, has 11. At only 2 at the half.
Well, you see, if I'm David Robinson, I know Buck Williams is on me. I want to get him as close to the hole as I can because I can shoot over him every time.
10 on the shot clock for the Trailblazers. Kersey going in. That's the idea. A loose ball foul against Portland, but at least they're now trying to get inside.
See, to me, they just don't have anyone who can play Kersey off the dribble or Drexler. If you get them in any kind of one-on-one situation or if they're coming off a motion with a cut. Hit him early and then let them go.
Buck Williams with his third. Elliott against Petrovic.
Nice.
Goes in and a foul. Non-shooting foul, and that'll be against Drazen Petrovic. That'll be his second, and there is Terry Porter, who has scored 30 points today. Replaces Young, but Porter has 4 3-point baskets for the Blazers.
Larry Brown really high on Sean Elliott. Like he told us yesterday, he thought that You know, there's a lot of pressure on him early because they drafted him so high to come out and be outstanding. Into this training camp, that really put a big burden on his game.
He was out of shape. And the third pick of the draft, and I guess more pressure was put on him when David Robinson played so well this year.
Right, and then, but the second half of the season, Larry said he can really do it. Going to be a big star for us in the future.
There's the free throw story. We're tied again, 75. Blazers had an 11-point lead in the second quarter. Petrovic gets his own rebound on the miss. Kersey over Elliott. Robinson with the rebound. 13 for David Robinson. That's his best rebounding. Well, he had 17 in one game. Goes in. Foul. They're going to count the basket. Goaltending against Cliff Robinson. And a pushing foul as well.
You'll see this one now. Now, watch Cliff Robinson. He really is a talented guy. Here's your shot on the way up. See, and he did not want that. In my opinion, that was not goaltending. That ball was still on his way up. He surprises you. You know, he's 6'10", Cliff Robinson, and he has long arms.
It's the free throw, winds up with the ball. Caldwell Jones lays it in, and the San Antonio Spurs have now taken a 79-75 lead. Timeout Portland, and their first lead since the first quarter.
See, I like the move. When you have Caldwell and Robinson in at the same time, two guys over 7 foot and two shot blockers.
Well, tonight on CBS kicks off with Paradise, followed by Tour of Duty. Then on Saturday night with Connie Chung, it's the world of big-time pro wrestling. Does the average family like it? You bet. And millions are willing to pay up to $30 to watch it at home. That's all tonight here on CBS. 77 championship. Trailblazers lost the first two to the Philadelphia 76ers and then won the next 4. And they are the last team to come from a 2-0 deficit in the best-of-7 series to win it. And the San Antonio Spurs are in that position today to become the 5th ever to do it. Here's Tim Brandt.
All right, Dick, during this timeout, Rick Adelman was really trying to light his team up. He gave him a pep talk, said, hey, we're all right. All we've got to do is get the ball moving again, playing like we were the first 3 periods. He was trying to tell them they're not out of the ball game. All of a sudden, everybody stood up, started clapping. They're ready to go, Dick.
Well, I'm surprised that they don't go back to the pick-and-roll game, because in the first quarter, that's how they were able to maintain the 10-point lead. Because San Antonio would trap it, it would open up 3 people, movement, and they're getting excellent shots.
Clyde Drexler back at guard. Kevin Duckworth with 4 fouls back in at center for the Blazers. Trailing by 4. San Antonio on a 7-0 run. 2 seconds on the shot. Duckworth misses. And Portland has now missed 7 in a row. Here's Wingate. Nice. Beating Robinson, and now the biggest lead of the game established by the Spurs.
2 excellent passes. Strickland and then Wingate taking the defense and getting the layup.
2.5 minutes gone by in period number 4 of the 7th game of this series. Phoenix waits in the wings for the survivor.
See, with Caldwell Jones and Robinson in there.
Porter, where would they be without Porter, who has 32 points?
See, every time they throw down inside, the threat of the shot block, the ball is going right back out to the perimeter. A lot of pressure on Terry Porter.
Speaking of a Terry Cummings, and Willie Anderson getting set to come back in for San Antonio. Wingate misses on the break. Drexler. Only his 8th point of the game.
And only his first field goal in the second half.
And a timeout called by San Antonio.
Here we have an example of excellent open court play. Get the ball into the middle. Now, once Strickland has the ball, watch what he does with the defense. When that play comes over, keep a left to the screen, left to the screen. Once Duckworth committed, easy layup. Now at the opposite end, here we have Drexler. Now watch
Strickland cut him off. But Strickland has 4 fouls. If he didn't have 4, he probably would have fouled him out there rather than give up the layup, because they do have fouls to give.
There's the story here in the 4th period in a series in which the home team has been victorious in every game thus far. Longest string of sellouts in the NBA. This building 570 straight here in Portland. 8.5 minutes to play.
In the last 5 to 6 minutes, San Antonio running excellent stuff. Look at this.
Sean Elliott wide open. Elliott with 9.
You got to be impressed with the fact that the shots are wide open. No defender within range.
Drexler trying to get in. Oh! Second chance point. Williams. Basket will counter a foul. It's a foul. No basket.
Excellent call. No way. Good shot block that time.
You'll see the penetration by Drexler. See, this is what we think, because see, once the defense rotates, that opens up offensive rebounding for you. There it is. Well, unfortunately, you couldn't get a good shot of it, but they definitely got it on the way up.
Cummings with his 2nd foul. Buck Williams, if he's ever had a weakness in play, it's been the free throw.
Yeah, but he's been happy. He said during the course of the year he shot over 70%, really, and he has a lot of confidence. He thinks he can make them. But in this series, both teams have really been struggling. They have not made the foul check.
1 out of 2, 83-80, San Antonio. You'll mentioned their road performance. They were 22-19 away from home this year. Pretty good for a young team. Strickland, penetration. Drexler knocked away. Still Blazers ball. Summers Squall has won the Preakness at Pimlico. Unbridled, the Kentucky Derby winner 2nd, and Mr. Frisky 3rd. That's unofficial results from the Preakness at Pimlico. 7:40 to play in this one. Porter with a good fake on Anderson, and San Antonio blocking foul.
He's stunned.
Yep.
He's really stunned, because as he made his move, he got popped flush on the mouth.
3rd team foul against the Spurs. Each team has 3, and Terry Cummings is big enough to provide a hurt. That's his 3rd.
Now you'll see. Yeah, good movement by the defense that time. Excellent position by Terry Cummings.
Porter had 27 points in game 2 and 38 in game number 5. Has 33 right now. He has overshadowed Drexler in all phases today.
Well, in order to win that game 5, Drexler had to come in with 35 himself.
That's right.
The guy that I have not given enough credit to right now is Willie Anderson. He has done an excellent job matching up with Drexler.
1-point lead, Spurs. Double on Robinson. Here's Anderson. Nice. Finds Strickland. Blocked by Kersey. Kersey blocked the shot, and Portland can regain the lead. Porter. No foul that time. Body to body. Joey Crawford was right there.
Oh, the ball was short.
Sean Elliott. Drexler has it. Again, the Blazers can lead. Kersey, and he's fouled.
Now, this is the tempo that we thought we would see earlier, like we did in the first quarter. Now, here we have the shot. Now, watch this excellent pass. Here comes Kersey. Beautiful. Catches it before it gets up above the rim. He's ignited a lot of things here today.
David Robinson picks up his 4th personal foul. So Robinson, Sean Elliott, and Rod Strickland all with 4. And one more San Antonio foul will put them in the penalty, but Kersey misses the free throw. Been a continuing story for both teams
Pressure games, Dick, always determined by the foul line and who gets the most easy basket. Second shot, an open floor.
San Antonio by 1. Robinson didn't have control. Strickland saves it. Good hustle. He beat Drexler to the corner. Great pass inside and a foul.
Not only did Strickland get the offensive rebound, but what a great pass.
And Cummings will go to the line, and Rod Strickland. Great strength.
Now here we have Strickland coming down, keeping this alive. Now, wants to pass it right back to him. Now, you see that? Found the free man as soon as the defense rotated.
Each team with 4 team fouls. Kersey picked up his 4th. Cummings with 20, and here's David Wingate. And Sean Elliott will go out. So now a 3-guard lineup of Strickland, Wingate, and Willie Anderson in there for San Antonio.
Yeah, but they moved Willie Anderson up to the small forward position to match up with Kersey.
And Cummings makes them both.
This is not a weakness in the defense of San Antonio. Willie Anderson played the entire rookie year last season at small forward.
Wrap on Porter. They give it up. 8 on the shot clock. Drexler. Rebound. Robinson over the top. Kersey beat him and drew the foul. Robinson came close to picking up 5, and maybe he did.
Why is this guy giving some effort today? Kersey's everywhere. He's on the board. He's blocking shots. He's running the lane.
5 on David Robinson.
Now watch right into the center of your screen here. Comes down right here. They catch him up over the top. There's your hit.
And Robinson will come out, and Caldwell Jones replaces him. David has scored 15 points and has 14 rebounds, but goes to the bench with 5 personal fouls.
Well, it's going to be a short stay. We only have 6 minutes to go in the game. You know, he might leave him there for a minute, maybe a minute and a half.
Kersey cuts the lead to 1.
Big thing now, San Antonio, you've got to stay to your offensive sets. You've got to try to include Willie Anderson or Cummings.
Anderson misses. Here comes Portland. Ahead of the field is Drexler. Blazers regain the lead.
As soon as that shot went up, Clyde Drexler took off down to the other end of the floor.
Strickland gives San Antonio the lead back. Time remaining. Scintillating 7th and deciding game of this series. Kersey keeps it alive on Duckworth-Smith. And Strickland will pick up his 5th foul right there. 5 on Rod Strickland.
When you see 2 players hustling like that, or a free pass, because that one could have been intercepted by Strickland, you hate to see either guy get a foul.
And they're in the penalty as well, and Terry Porter will shoot. At the conclusion of our game, Hubie Brown and I will select the Miller Lite Player of the Game. In conjunction with the award, Light Beer will present a check in the amount of $1,000 in the player's name to the National Multiple Sclerosis Society. Trying to break the tie here is Porter. 13 of 15 from the line. Points. Porter trying to urge the crowd on to be louder. I don't know how much louder they can be. Cummings comes back and hits it.
Go to the proven veteran guys. The primetime guys who have been there before, who can make the shot, and also when they go to the line, will make the foul shots for you.
And thrown away as Porter's pass a little bit beyond the reach of Kersey. And you're right, Robinson didn't spend much time on the pine. He'll be coming back with 5 fouls. And going out is Caldwell Jones. So both Strickland and Robinson stay in the game with 5. That's what you do in Game 7. Willie Anderson. 91-88 San Antonio. I'm amazed at the poise of a young club at this pressure level.
Absolutely right, Dick. They're doing an excellent job running their offense and freeing guys for wide open shots. Big difference.
Out of bounds. It's still Portland's ball. They have 12 seconds to attempt a shot. 4:36 remain in the fourth quarter. Phoenix Suns gone to school on both of these teams. We'll play one of them on Monday to start their 7-game Western Final. Porter knifes in. There's Kersey. Strickland comes out of the pack with a 3-point Spur lead.
Nice.
Robinson gets fouled. Pushed by Buck Williams. That's all he could do.
Excellent ball movement, eliminating the possibility of a shot block down in the offensive area for San Antonio.
And both teams now in the penalty, and David Robinson will shoot. 4 on Buck Williams. Cummings with 23 leads the Spurs. Anderson is 18 and Strickland 16. Robinson going for his 17th point. Doesn't get it. 92-88, San Antonio. On the clock.
You know, from an offensive standpoint, you can't get careless now and allow any ball to become a loose ball, because it's going to be quick legs to get to them. You got to go for every pass strong.
And a turnover.
Look out.
A 3-on-1 break. Strickland has Wingate and Cummings misses the layup. A big miss for San Antonio. Portland trying to come back with an advantage.
If you don't have it, don't force.
They're down by 4. Double team on Kersey now. Boy, this is pressure at its utmost, and Drexler with a great baseline spin move.
That was a tough shot over the top of Wingate. Very, very tough.
Larry Brown had a smile of appreciation there.
Well, you know, you can't play defense any better than that.
92-90, Spurs. There's the time remaining, fourth quarter. Wingate gets a step, draws the foul. And a foul is on Kersey, number 5 on Jerome.
See, when you look at the San Antonio offense, under pressure, they've been getting a lot of movement on the baseline, many picks. Players are open for little jump shots, and if they're not, they can catch the pass and go to the basket strong.
Kersey becomes the first Trailblazer to pick up his 5th foul. San Antonio has missed 11 free throws today, but lead by 3. And we're getting close to crunch time here. Nice pass from Drexler inside, blocked by Robinson. Kersey has it knocked away by Wingate. Great defensive play by Wingate, and Strickland fouled by Porter going to the hoop. But it was Wingate who knocked it away.
Good call that time by Joey Crawford. Here he has excellent defense. Great shot block. Everyone hustling. And there's the strip by Wingate, which started the fast break.
Foul is on Porter and a timeout with just under 3 to go.
Less than 3 minutes to play Game 7. You're looking inside the San Antonio huddle. Larry Brown with a lot of reminders. The reminders are, keep Kersey off the boards. If Drexler dribbles hard, he's going to spin, so we're going to jump him and trap him. He will take a bad shot, he told his team. But basically, he's telling them maintain their poise. They've played extremely well. They have not won here since January of 1986. But right now, they're in great shape. Dick?
All right, Tim, thank you very much. And we'll see what Clyde Drexler and company have in response. Each team with 3 timeouts plus a 20, no fouls to give, and Rod Strickland will be going to the line. Rick Adelman, fantastic job coaching the Portland Trail Blazers to 59 wins, and a trip to the Western Conference Finals hangs in the balance. Strickland 0 for 1 today, only 54% from the line in the playoffs.
He's played very big here today in the second half. Totally under control, not making any foolish fouls because they need his minutes.
And playing with 5 right now, 95-90. Here's Drexler. Duckworth setting a pick. Switch Cummings, pick and roll to Duckworth. Good defense, gets it back.
Nice.
Strip from behind, might have been David Robinson. Here's Wingate, all the way. Robinson tips it in for San Antonio.
Buck Williams, Yellen wants the loose ball foul. Robinson over the back. But in a situation like that, you've got to block him out. You cannot let him get airborne.
It's a 7-point lead and the biggest lead of the game for the Spurs. With less than 2.5 to play. Here's Duckworth getting 2 big ones back.
Got to pull together defensively if you're Portland. It's got to come on one shot opportunity or force the turnover. San Antonio excellent in their half-court offensive sets.
Strickland in the lane. Took a shot with plenty of time on the clock. Under 2 minutes to go. Wingate won't let Porter get the shot off. Drexler fires a 3 and hits it. And it's a 2-point game.
They're not calling a timeout. Larry Brown wants to continue in the flow here.
Williams all over Cummings. Knocked away with 8 seconds on the shot clock. Anderson finds Strickland in the lane. Tipped up, missed by Robinson. And rolls out to Duckworth, and the Trailblazers can tie it up. Porter penetrates, feeds Percy, and a tie game. And a timeout called by San Antonio. 5 in a row by the Blazers. 7-0 run. .17 remain in the 4th quarter of the deciding game of this series. We're at Raucous Memorial Coliseum in Portland, and the last minute and 2 seconds, the Portland Trail Blazers have scored 7 straight points to tie this game at 97.
Excellent defense by Porter, and then the rotation to force Strickland into a difficult shot. Now, as Porter goes to the floor, the pitch out, then they maneuver the basketball up the floor. Now here comes Porter. Now watch the penetration, the closing of the defense, the pass to the right. And here comes Kersey with the monster bam.
San Antonio has 2 timeouts plus a 20. And Portland has 3 timeouts plus a 20. Duckworth hit a shot, Drexler with a 3, and Percy. That's how they got the 7.
Well, in the last 2 San Antonio sets, Strickland has missed a jumper at the foul line, and then that difficult penetration. He beat his man, but then the man coming at him forced them to change and shoot a high, really high degree of difficulty shot.
David Robinson playing with 5 fouls. San Antonio looking to break the tie.
That's his 2-man Cummings
short with it. Rebound to Porter. Now it's in Portland's hands. Under a minute and 13 on the shot clock for the Blazers.
Trying to go to, they went to Drexler for the lob. Now he's
5 on the shot clock. Porter, defense by Strickland, puts it up. And the rebound by Willie Anderson. There's a 20-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock. San Antonio with a chance to break the tie.
Remember, San Antonio, 2 timeouts and a 20.
David Robinson, short. Rebound into the hands of Kersey, and Portland now can play out and they wait for the last shot with 3 seconds differential.
Well, they're sitting on 3 timeouts and a 20.
Now it's 2. Rick Adelman in the Portland Trailblazer huddle. There's the score. 18.4 seconds remain, and the Trailblazers have 15 of those seconds. So there's a differential of 3.4 seconds.
Well, a major situation there if you're Larry Brown. You're trying to deny every pass. That's number 1. Rick Adelman, we talked to him yesterday, and we said, if you got into a situation exactly like this, what do you do? He says Terry Porter or Drexler will be involved on one side of the floor. On the other side, we like to set up a stagger or a double screen for the other individual. Now, if you are Portland, you're taking the ball out of bounds. You have 2 timeouts and a 20 to use to make sure that you can get the ball in bounds. If you are San Antonio, and you can get them to shoot early. If you can't get a quick pitch out, then you can use your timeout because you know you have 3.4 seconds in the differential of the clock.
Defending will be Rod Strickland, David Wingate, Cummings, Robinson, and Anderson. Inbounding will be Drexler. He's got Porter, Duckworth, Kersey, and Buck Williams.
Well, they're coming. They're trying to get the ball to Porter.
9 on the shot clock.
Maybe a pick and roll here. Or 1-on-1.
Porter pulls up. This is the shot, the rebound. Wingate has it. 1 second to go. Anderson loses the ball, and the buzzer sounds. We're going to overtime.
Great defensive play by Drexler. They had the 2-on-1 break.
So after playing a thrilling double overtime game in game number 5, won by Portland, we go into another overtime. Here's how it ended.
Now, if Porter came to the middle, it probably would have been a pick and roll with Duckworth, but he takes his man off the dribble. Now, just watch as this rebound comes off. Now, look in the left lane. See, there's the pass right there. You'll see it now. Here it comes. Your pass is made. Buck Williams hustling. Drexler really shaking and gets a piece right there and knocks the ball loose.
So defensive plays on both ends, particularly that end. And we go to a 5-minute overtime when we return. Heading for overtime in game 7 of this series between Portland and San Antonio. 5 minutes coming up. Let's take a look at those excruciating final seconds, Hubie.
Now, this is a second guess for anyone. Do you call timeout right here and then take the ball at half court and allow the defense to set up? Or do you force the action? Now, if Drexler does not get a piece there and he does not get a little piece here, you win the game in open floor because you're playing the situation and you're not allowing the other team to set up defensively.
Portland scored the last 7 points of regulation in less than 2.5 minutes. Let's see how they pick up here. Each team has 3 timeouts and a 20. And on the 14th foul, it's the penalty situation in overtime. Those are the players in foul trouble. Strickland and Robinson for the Spurs. Kersey for the Blazers. Kersey jumping against Robinson. Controlled. Strickland saves it to Wingate. 5 minutes. We had a whole host of people fouling out in that game 5.
They keep bringing Robinson on the baseline to the ball.
Cummings posting up against Buck Williams. There's Cummings with a turnaround. Tipped up by Robinson, and a great save by Terry Cummings keeps it going. Willie Anderson goes baseline and draws the foul. It'll be against Buck Williams, his 5th foul and the first team foul. Tim Brand.
Dick, now the San Antonio coaches feel that the trend of the game is going to change. It's going to the free throw line. They want to keep pressure now on Portland's defense by driving to the hoop like we just saw. The outside shot, they want to do away with that. They want pressure, they want drives, they want everything now to go in the middle and keep the pressure on the Portland defense.
Thank you. Willie Anderson looking for his 20th point, Tim, and he's got it. And San Antonio up by 2.
Willie's had a great game, offensively and then defensively on Drexler.
We can't underscore more the defensive play, as you mentioned, on Klein. Porter trying to find room to launch it with 6 on the shot clock now. Kersey ties it.
Once again, the pick and roll. San Antonio hesitated, then double team, opening up Kersey in the corner.
Little more than a minute gone by in the OT. Double on David Robinson. 7 on the shot clock. Wingate didn't have control. Tipped up by Strickland, and now the Trailblazers can take a lead in overtime.
You have to be careful. Every time Strickland crashes the board, the guards are going to the other end of the floor.
Ball away by Drexler. Kind of a forced shot, but there's Buck Williams with the rebound.
Now that was man size. There were bodies banging all over in there.
He's been doing that all game, Buck Williams. San Antonio has missed 9 in a row. Now make it 10. David Robinson double teamed, and now the Blazers again.
See, when the ball's going into Robinson, there's no movement. There are no cutters. Just freelance.
Drexler going baseline against Wingate. Lays it in. 103-99. Timeout, San Antonio.
On this shot attempt, you're going to see a man who makes his pay and his notoriety working hard. Buck Williams with the goggles. Here he comes. He comes down with it. There it is. And then the strong move right back up and in. When he was with New Jersey, you would put in cement. 1,000 rebounds every game, every year. Now, Drexler off the dribble. See, we think this has been there all day for him. Strong move, good defense by San Antonio, but a great move by an outstanding offensive player to make the score.
Since San Antonio had their largest lead of the game, 97-90, with a little over 2 minutes to go, Portland has gone on a 13-2 run. Now let's see what Larry Brown has cooked up. Sean Elliott has returned to the game for the Spurs. David Robinson with 18 points. Keep in mind he's playing with 5 personal fouls. And the Spurs, who are 0 for 4 in overtime, have missed their last 10 shots.
The big thing now is when you're a young ball club, the road team, you have 2.5 minutes to go. You stick to your offense and you go to your key people. Just try not to get rattled. You're only down 4.
And plenty of time remaining. Anderson looking for Robinson with Duckworth in front of him. And they're going to tie it up, and they'll call the foul. Holding foul. And it'll be on Drexler, his 3rd personal. We'll take it out of bounds.
The last 3 times, Dick, that David Robinson has caught the ball, he's been double teamed very, very hard. There are no cutters, so he can't get the ball off to anybody getting to the basket.
Full 24 seconds. And 2:20 now remaining in the overtime. Off the screen, Anderson to Cummings, and Willie Anderson with a great pass, and now it's a 2-point game.
Excellent 2-man basketball.
Cummings with 25 leads the Spurs. 2 minutes to go now in the first overtime period.
Wasting a lot of time getting into the offense here now.
They got 8 on the shot clock. Porter is looking for someone. Gets it back with 4 on the clock, fires away, and that ball will go out of bounds. San Antonio will take over.
Well, you could see they were People did not know where they were supposed to be going on that play. Here's an excellent pick. And now the drop-off pass as both players got caught up trying to guard Willie Anderson.
Chance to tie for the Spurs.
Bringing Robinson to the ball side.
Turnaround by Robinson ties the score. And David Robinson with 20.
That's the first time in the last 8 or 9 minutes that they have not been able to get the double team on him strong and quick.
Tied at 103. Porter gets free. Cummings the rebound. San Antonio was down by 4, and they can wrest the lead here from the Trailblazers. Cummings, short. And it'll turn it over now to Portland. Larry Brown a little exasperated.
Well, I tell you, that was 3 refs really working together that time. UB Evans wasn't sure whether the ball was tipped. Joey Crawford had to call all the way.
Under a minute to go and 19 on the shot clock for the Trailblazers. Game 7, Western semifinal. The home teams won them all. Drexler has it knocked away. It's coming. Now Strickland in a crowd. Porter giving him a tough time. Patience. Porter picks up Anderson. Plenty of time on the shot clock.
Oh,
and
man.
Strickland throws the ball behind his back, and Drexler in a foot race. Foul. And the basket's going to count, and a foul as well.
Deliberate foul. 2 shots.
And the ball.
The ball.
These things decide games.
The defensive player must be in position to defend. Now here you'll see a bad pass. The offensive player went to the corner, not to the basket. Now here, he doesn't want to give it up, but the NBA has put this in. This is a very good rule. He had to foul him from the rear.
Strickland is fouled out of the game. Drexler hits the free throw. So Rod Strickland with an incredible over-the-head pass at this kind of a game at this time. Really unbelievable. And then pushes Drexler in a deliberate foul on the other end. And it's a kind of a bittersweet game for Strickland, who played so well for most of the game. But fouls out. And the ball for Portland now, leading by 2.
And the key, 26 seconds. So there will be a little differential here.
2.2 second differential. And we'll be back for the finish. We hope that series is as good as this one. Bulls and Pistons, game 1 tomorrow, 1 o'clock Eastern time. But right here, it's 105-103 Portland ball, and here is that incredible pass by Strickland, unheard of in a game like this.
Well, he thought that the man, Elliott, would be going to the basket. Instead, Elliott went out to the corner to open himself up for a wide-open jump shot. Major turnover. And then, at the other end of the floor. All right, right now, let's look at what you have going here. Larry Brown, they have 26 seconds on the clock, Portland ball. You know that they have to shoot. But you want to defend, and then you say to yourself, how many seconds will you allow your guys to try to cause a turnover before you foul? Or will you allow them to run the clock down? Then you're taking your chances if a guy shoots and misses, okay? So consequently, the pressure is on the defense now. Good positioning, trying hard for a deflection, and then a possible trap.
Danny Young and Drazen Petrovic, the backup guards, are in the game for the Trailblazers, along with Clyde Drexler. Good ball handlers in there right now, plus Buck Williams.
They're also going to their best foul shooter.
And a foul as Cummings fouls Drexler, and he'll go to the line to shoot 2. Clyde has 19 points. Kersey back in. Young goes out. Now they want rebounders. And big people. Duckworth also checks back in for Portland.
Now remember, San Antonio still has 2 timeouts and a 20.
If he makes the next, it's a 4-point lead. San Antonio's got to barring a timeout, score quickly, and then they're in the same situation. 107-103 timeout.
Right now, you must save the seconds off the clock by calling timeout and moving it to half court.
That's what they've done.
Let's look at the strategy here right now. San Antonio has at the high school and college level. I have seen this. You deliberately miss the shot, you get the rebound, the defensive team falls asleep, you kick it back and you shoot a three. Takes a lot of nerve.
I mean, I'm not sure what he was trying to do with that.
All right, now you got a defense. You've got to play hard defense here.
They foul Drexler. Elliott fouls him from behind, so Drexler, a good free throw shooter, goes on the line. And, of course, the Spurs have to hope he misses one or both of those free throws.
Right. Now, remember, if he misses one and you get the rebound, you call an immediate timeout so you can move the ball to half court. San Antonio has one timeout plus the 20. Larry just told him, call a time.
Phoenix Suns will play the winner of this game in the Western Conference Finals. Cliff Robinson replaces Duckworth. He gave him a spark today.
Oh, he sure did.
Missed the second and a timeout called by Cummings. And now it's a three-point game with 5.6 to go. Larry Brown can set it up now.
Now, you're San Antonio. You know you need a three. Now, you go to your pet moves. Do you take it, get it in bounds, dribble in, let the defense collapse, kick out? Do you run a staggered pick out high beyond the three-point line? Do you set a double screen? All teams have their pet three-point shots that they're going to go to. Look to go, get it in quick, catch them in jubilation, and maybe you can get it up the side. Now, Larry Brown, they are setting this up for three guys to go. One in the corner, one at the top of the circle, one in the opposite corner. Now, well, what did he say? The key being that if you don't have it, throw it back to the guy out of bounds. In the NBA, the most dangerous guy is the guy out of bounds for the three.
Greg Elo last year against Chicago in the big playoff game. David Wingate will be the first option. Reggie Williams is checking into the game. His first time he's come in. They are not going to guard the inbounds man. Petrovic now turns around.
On all screens, they should switch and deny the people coming to the top or the three-point line area.
Williams, Anderson, Wingate, Robinson, and is intercepted by Porter, and they're going to run it out now. Game is over. Portland wins it. Miller Lite will donate $1,000 to the National Multiple Sclerosis Society as the Blazers make it 13 in a row at home over the Spurs. And so, for Hubie Brown, Tim Brand, and James Brown, this is Dick Stockton saying so long from Memorial Coliseum in Portland, where the Trailblazers win the decider in OT 108-105. Don't forget the NBA playoffs on CBS continue tomorrow. Basketball show at 12:30 Eastern, followed by Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals between the Pistons and the Bulls. The NBA on CBS is a presentation of CBS Sports.